Good evening, I'm Griha Atul and this is Plain Speak. I'm coming to you live from the Green Lamb Laminates Primetime Studio. The budget session of the Parliament kicked off today with President Droupadi Murmu's address, where she highlighted India's economic growth and the government's ongoing reforms. However, reactions to her speech quickly took centre stage. Senior Congress leader Sonia Gandhi was overheard remarking that the president appeared quote-unquote very tired by the end of her speech, while Rahul Gandhi dismissed it as boring. Though Mrs. Gandhi refrained from making any official statement to the media, her candid comment did not go unnoticed by the press. Meanwhile, Pune MP Pappu Yadav weighed in, calling the president a mere rubber stamp of the government's, while Trinamool Congress MP Kalyan Banerjee described the speech as both quote-unquote funny and depressing. The BJP, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, swiftly hit back, condemning the Gandhi's remarks as an insult to India's first tribal woman president. Union Minister J.P. Nadda demanded an apology, particularly for the term poor lady, calling it a reflection of the Congress party's quote-unquote elitist, anti-poor and anti-tribal mindset. In fact, the Rashtrapati Bhavan also released a statement on Sonia Gandhi's remarks, stating that they have quote-unquote clearly hurt the dignity of the high office and therefore are unacceptable. Congress, however, insists that Sonia Gandhi's comments stem from empathy for President Murmu's health, something that they argue the BJP leaders are misinterpreting. The party is also countered by pointing out that BJP's own failure has been at the very forefront by not inviting President Murmu to the inaugurations of the new Parliament building and the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. So where does the truth lie? Did Sonia Gandhi, known for her measured words, cross a line with the remark that she made? Or is the BJP being selective in its outrage when it comes to respecting the highest chair of the country? Now, before opening this up, let's list out a few occasions since 2022 when President Murmu assumed office, when she has been at the heart of raging controversies between the centre and the opposition. Now, a little while ago, the BJP accused Rahul Gandhi of not greeting President Droupadi Murmu on the dais during the Constitution Day celebrations, and the BJP had again called it an insult to the president. Remember, something similar had happened when it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the heart of that controversy. It was the opposition and the Congress party specifically accusing Prime Minister Modi of not standing up when President Murmu was presenting one of the national honours to a dignified leader. Now, the opposition, on the other hand, if we take a look at other instances, had also posed questions at the Bharatiya Janata Party as to why President Murmu wasn't present at the Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha in 2024. Similarly, if you take a look at another instance, the BJP government found itself on the back foot when President Murmu was not invited for the inauguration of the new Parliament building in May 2023. It is also fair to note here that former President Ram Nath Kovind too was allegedly not invited to lay the foundation stone of the Ram Temple and also the new Parliament House. Now, in 2022, Congress leader Udit Raj had said that, quote-unquote, no country should get a president like Droupadi Murmu, and he further accused the high office of government's bootlicking. In July 2022, Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary apologized to President Murmu for his sexist Rashtrapatni jibe. Now, when President Murmu was sworn in as the 15th President of India in 2022, Congress leader Joy Kumar had said that NDA's presidential choice, Droupadi Murmu, represents a quote-unquote very evil philosophy of India. So the controversies over President Murmu show no signs of dying down. And unfortunately, the poor lady remark by Sonia Gandhi too now gets added to that list, followed by a series of comments by other members of the opposition and even the BJP, using this as a political opportunity to target the Congress, which makes us wonder as to why the customary president's address is being politicized.
मेरी सरकार के प्रयास के बल पर भारत दुनिया की तीसरी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बनने जा रही है।
No, the poor lady, President. repeating the same thing.
No, speak.
Government has made President to make a political speech, pakka political speech.
It's a really funny. Whatever, there is no. You just compare the 2024 speech and 2025 speech, or are equal.
एक आदिवासी बेटी का बोलना इनको बोरिंग लगता है। ये देश के 10 करोड़ आदिवासी भाई बहनों का अपमान है।
स्पष्ट रूप से हम कहना चाहेंगे कि महामहिम राष्ट्रपति कदाचित बेचारी नहीं हो सकती।
कांग्रेस नेता श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी जी और विपक्ष के कुछ नेताओं ने जो टिप्पणी की है, मैं उसका घोर निंदा करता हूं।
Let me now introduce my guests who are joining us this evening. Salman Soz, spokesperson of the Congress Party, is with us. Also, Shubh Rashtra, as an author, is with us. Also with us is Shabnam Dey, who's a political analyst, also backs the Trinamool Congress. We'd have Charu Pragya of the Bharatiya Janata Party also join us here in the CNN News 18 studio. Mr. Soz, let me begin with you before we have a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party really talk about the kind of insult that they suggest that Sonia Gandhi had levelled against the highest chair of the country. I'd like to understand why weren't Sonia Gandhi's words really measured? Because she's usually known to make very measured responses when it is speaking in front of the cameras. Mr. Soz. Mr. Salman Soz, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes. Were you able to hear my question, sir? I wanted to understand, why do you think this has become a controversy, sir? What Sonia Gandhi had mentioned while the cameras were rolling.
Okay, yes. So thank you for the question. I did not hear you earlier. I couldn't hear anything. There's a very easy explanation as to why this has become an issue, and this happens every time the government has to respond to the people's representatives in parliament around a major kind of issue. The budget is happening tomorrow, and they know they have done a horrible job of managing the economy, so they will do anything to distract attention from the big issues facing the country, including, by the way, taking two elderly women who are some of the most respected women in the country, who have immense respect and love for each other. They will try and make that seem like that is the issue, that they don't like each other. So, or maybe they'll say that Mrs. Gandhi has insulted the president. Is that even imaginable? Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, one of the most respected, one of the most decent human beings in our country. Is this what the BJP is?
So why is the Congress Party forced to defend the statements of Mrs. Gandhi?
Let me explain. I'm not defending. I'm actually in some ways conveying my personal, and I'm sure the angst of millions upon millions of Indians who basically want to know from this government, from Mr. Modi, why is it, Mr. Modi, that India's growth has been coming down over the last several years? Why is it, Mr. Modi, that private consumption was the highest?
Mr. Soz, I'd like to again ask my question. Why is the Congress Party then being forced to defend the statement that's been made by Mrs. Gandhi? Not officially though, but we've had her daughter, Priyanka Gandhi, really come out, on record, and she said, my mother is 78. She did not mean any disrespect to the president of the country. Why are the leaders of the Congress Party now being forced to, in fact, go ahead and defend the statement of Mrs. Gandhi?
This is not defense. This is actually, it's basically making sure that the government, the BJP and its lackeys on social media and national media and newspapers, etc., do not twist the words of Sonia Ji, do not twist her empathy for a fellow human being, for a fellow elderly person. Do not let them twist, because we will not allow the BJP to distract from the grave issues facing the people of this country. Young and old are miserable under this government. This government's economic policies have basically broken the back of ordinary citizens in this country. And those are the issues that we will be discussing. Those are the issues we'll be fighting for. Those are the issues we'll be discussing tomorrow itself. When the budget comes
Unfortunately,
out,
Mr. Soos, that has become the regular line of defense of the Congress party, that all of this is diversionary tactics from the real issues by the Bharatiya Janata Party and the government at the centre. I'd like to now welcome Charu Pragya, who is with me in the studio. Now, Charu, your response. This is what has been the word by the Congress party.
Yes.
And also, I would like to, in fact, ask you this next question. Why this selective outrage on the name of the President of the country?
Let's first advise the Congress spokesperson that everything that he's been rattling off on national television should have first been explained to Sonia ji. Why did you not tell Sonia ji that you want to discuss issues, so on and so forth? Why is it that when she speaks, all she can come up with is poor woman? Is that how you speak about your president? And this is not the first time Congress has been derogatory in its remark, disrespectful time and time again. Is that the only thing you had to discuss about her address today? You had no policies to talk about, you had no issues to discuss. Critically, even if you had to be critical, you could have picked up a statement that she said and taken it from there. Instead, your tallest leader chooses to come down to a personal remark and says, poor woman. And you expect us to think that you want to discuss issues? Let's discuss issues. When it comes to discussing issues in Parliament, you are the ones who stage a walkout. So frankly, now the entire country is well aware of the tactics that you have. It's disrespect to anybody who doesn't come from the Gandhi family. It is especially disrespect to our Honorable President. What all have you not called her? When she stood for elections, the kind of things that were said about her, I don't even want to repeat today. Starting from, where she comes from, how she looks, you discussed every single thing in such a mean and superficial manner, giving her no respect, not understanding the journey she's had to reach her. And she's a wonderful, dignified, knowledgeable woman. Even today, you sit here and defend her, Mrs. Gandhi. Not once you could come up with any issue that you want to discuss. And let me assure you, any issue that you want to discuss, BJP has worked on and delivered tenfold to Congress, whatever you could even imagine.
Mr. Soor, would you like to respond to that? Although I would go back to Charu on the question that I asked her earlier, but let me quickly get a response from Mr. Soor.
Very quickly, this is the same party that did not invite the President of India for the inauguration of Parliament. The Parliament of India, a new Parliament was inaugurated. They did not invite the President of India. What is more insulting than that? So these people should not give any lectures to citizens. They should not give any lectures to the Congress party. My friend from the BJP talks about we've delivered tenfold. Yes, you've delivered poverty to this country. You've delivered high inequality in this country. You delivered taxes for the middle class. You will get a response. By the way, you people have not learned one basic lesson out of the 2024 election. That you lost seats in such a way that you fell below the majority mark because the people of India were giving you a message that your arrogance,
what delusion is Congress living in? What delusion is Congress living in? Please tell me.
Let me just finish, then you will get your...
Okay, Mr. Soos, you took a pause, but I'd like to understand from you that why was all of this not really said on record while that question was posed to the Gandhis or members of the Congress party? Yeah. Why was that president's speech not really discussed in substance and spirit then? Why just get away with saying, oh, poor lady appeared very tired at the end of the speech?
No.
Why make a patronizing statement?
This is absolutely wrong. One human being, one elderly person empathizes with another person. That's all there is. There is no disrespect because there is love and respect for the president on behalf of Sonia ji. And I know the president loves and respects Sonia ji as well. So please don't get your politics mixed up. Don't mix politics with the love for human beings.
No, I beg to differ.
Okay. You may differ, but don't use two elderly...
you have used our Honorable President only for your petty politics and nothing else.
But Charu, that's the accusation against the BJP as well. this selective outrage. Just a short while back, you had in fact gone all guns blazing against Rahul Gandhi not waiting to greet the president on the dais on Constitution Day.
Yeah.
Something similar happened with Prime Minister Narendra Modi while there was a national honor given to one senior leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party by the president. He did not stand up, and that was an issue that was taken up by the Congress party. So how is that right and that the other thing wrong?
No, time and time again, and I want to go back to the time when our honorable president came to office. The kind of remarks that have been passed by the Congress again have been terrible, from questioning her background to questioning her looks. In fact, not even respecting the fact that here is a woman who's risen up the ranks step by step by her own abilities and by her own hard work, and they have negated it all just because they cannot accept the fact that someone they didn't choose is sitting on the highest chair in this country. Even right now, I ask you very specifically, Sonia ji was asked what her opinion is about the president's address. What was her response? I would be discussing her response if she had a better one to make. If you are going to point fingers and get down to just passing petty personal remarks, why do you think it's not going to be pulled up? See, when it comes to policies in this country, are you even aware of what is happening? Are your leaders even aware? Did Sonia ji pass a remark like that because she didn't even bother to listen to the president's address? Because that's what I've started thinking. Rahul Gandhi misses 50% of parliament. His track record is that bad. So much so that you can have an outrage about Manmohan Singh ji also. But when the country is in national mourning, you need to go off to Vietnam on a private trip to celebrate New Year.
That's diverting it. But
No,
I'd
it's
like
not
to
diverting it.
let me
shows
bring
the
in
fact
other
that
members
she didn't
now.
even
Other
know
members
what
on
the
the panel.
president said.
All right,
Had she
Shubhashra,
known what the president had said,
got
she
your
would
point.
have spoken about the policies or the statements.
Okay, we'll come back to that point, Charu. But Shubhashra, what do you have to say about what Sonia Gandhi had made a reference in the passing? Would you call that just a banter between the family members? Because the cameras were pretty much rolling. She usually is a very, very conscious speaker. She measures her words, and she has been known to talk at length and in defense and in fact with pride of senior women leaders. In fact, she was one of the senior members of the Congress party to go and greet President Murmu after she assumed office. Do you think all of that now stands undermined because of this little comment that she made? Shubhashra?
Thanks, Griha. Thank you for having me on your show. The way I interpret it is this, that Sonia Gandhi's politics has, in the public eye, been that of a very decent politician, for sure. But I think behind that garb of decency was always a sense of, one-upmanship, always a sense of arrogance, which has somehow...
Why do you call it one-upmanship?
Sorry?
Why do you call it one-upmanship?
Because I think it's very... it's not very comfortable for her to digest the fact that the politics in this country has actually taken a shift. Now, what Mr. Salman Soz was here has been trying to defend. In fact, it is the defense of the indefensible. I remember a quote from Roosevelt, who actually said that the most practical kind of politics to follow is the politics of decency. And if Sonia Gandhi was half decent, she would have understood. And she would have been cognizant of the fact that whatever she's uttering today is uttering while the cameras are rolling, and more importantly, she's uttering that on for the highest office this country can offer to a woman. Forget about anything else. I don't understand why would you call the president of this country, irrespective of her gender, irrespective of the social position she comes from, a poor woman. Why would you do that?
Are you seriously taking what she said as a literal translation, or when she called President poor lady was very tired? Are you literally taking it, Shubhashra? Are we really talking on those lines here?
I'm neither literally taking it nor am I metaphorically taking it. These are poor choice of words. The way you framed the question, Griya, was also that, she comes from this line of leadership who has never been very flippant with her words, but somehow this comes out, and nothing comes out in politics, in a flippant manner, especially then when your political when Congress's, position in the Indian political ecosystem right now is really in the dumps. You cannot say anything which will mar you. And I absolutely agree with Charu here. If Congress was really very positively, constructively auguring for a discussion on economy, on various facets that it shows it's really invested in, then Sonia Gandhi should have actually put all issues aside and talked only on that. it's very rare, if I were to use the opposition's terminologies, it's very rare that the media covers the opposition, right? So here it was, I mean, the doyen of the Congress party speaking in front of the media, she could have addressed issues that concern the people of this country.
Okay, so let's in fact broaden our sphere here and talk about the other members of the opposition. Let me bring in Shabnam Dey also. Shabnam, there was a member of the Trinamool Congress, Kalyan Banerjee, who goes about talking about this customary president's address, claiming that it was funny and also disappointing. Are these not poor choice of words?
Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, Shabnam, go ahead.
To all my panelists, and thanks, Ria, for inviting me on your show to showcase and share with you some words which are that now very turbulent in Indian politics right now. President is to be honored, either of male or female, either coming from backward classes, tribal or general caste. But the adverse point of view is that, on the contrary, if you see the speech of our president, which has been delivered in the parliament, it is only polarized of politics, outcome of BJP, which is their failure and achievement. President of India is
how is the
head
speech
of
polarizing?
the constitutional power.
Ms. Dey, how is the president's address polarizing? Why is it polarizing?
Because if you get the achievement, if you talk about the achievement of the ruling government of this in the central, you are the president of India and you are the constitutional head.
But ma'am, isn't that
and
convention?
You have to address.
Isn't that convention? Haven't all the presidents of the country spoken about the dispensation of the year that we're talking about and spoken about what has happened under that dispensation? Isn't that customary? Why politicize it?
The dispensation of the achievement and the failure, that has to be educated and delivered in such a way that President of India is the constitutional head. She has to address, she is addressing the country, she is addressing the parliament. They are the representatives of the people.
Okay.
So
and you say that is why the speech was depression. Charu wants to make a point.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, when the president speaks in parliament, she talks about the country. She talks about India. She explains what she has gathered to be India's, highlights in the last year, and that is exactly what this entire speech was about. She was talking about her country, our country, but I don't know if I can expect any better from an opposition where the leader of opposition clearly states we are fighting against the state of India today. Like, that's the kind of language when the leader of opposition is going to use. I don't think you're going to appreciate an address which talks about the nation, the achievements of the nation, and I think that's where the gap lies. It's not about Sonia ji merely saying, oh, poor woman. It's about Sonia ji not giving her the respect she deserves, not giving the chair the respect that chair deserves on a day as important as this one. This is a historical address. It happens every year. And when a senior leader of the opposition is asked, what is your opinion about that address? You're not supposed to brush it off by either seeming to be a leader who's not heard it properly and has no coherent thought about it, or someone who's dismissing the president.
But Charu, I'd still like to understand from you, isn't the BJP too sensing a political opportunity in using the president's name to their advantage? And this is a selective outrage. And I'll again go back to the first question that I asked you. When it chooses and it benefits the Bharatiya Janata Party, you use the president's name or give the amount of respect that is required of the high office. Otherwise, you don't.
Kriya, with due respect, let me say this. Whether it is our leader Modi ji or anyone else in our party, we are not raking up news about disrespect given to seniors. And I say this with a lot of confidence and a lot of responsibility. Can the same be said for leaders of the Congress? Haven't there been repeated remarks about senior leaders or behavior on camera with senior leaders, which is not as per Indian culture? That's not how we treat our seniors. So obviously we're going to question this, and I'm asking this again. Was Sonia ji so distracted that she missed the entire address and she had nothing concrete to say about it?
Well, all I would say, I'm really sorry, I'll have to wrap this up. We're really short on time on the broadcast. I'd like to say that this is a a majority of women panelists today we had on Plain Speak, and we'd like to end it there. We just hope that over a woman senior leader, and that too at the highest office of the country, we don't see politics that goes down to this level. We just hope tomorrow is another day, and we look forward to the budget session on February the 1st. Thank you so much to all my panelists. Thank you so much for watching Plain Speak. I go into a very, very short break.